The Senate Judiciary Committee looked at the domestic use of surveillance drones and the privacy issues they raise. They heard from law enforcement, privacy advocates, and the CEO of a company that manufactures unmanned drones. This is just under 2 hours.
I had breakfast this morning with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dempsey. I mentioned this hearing, but I pointed out to him that this is on domestic, non-military use of drones. Recently, the debate about the use of unmanned aerial vehicles or drones is largely focused on the lethal targeting of suspected terrorists, including Americans. I continue to have deep concerns about the constitutional and legal implications of such targeted killings, and both Senator Grassley and I have requested all the OLC material on that. I've spoken with Senator Durbin, who next month will chair a hearing in the Constitutional Subcommittee. It's going to examine these issues carefully. As I know at the beginning of this Congress, I am convinced that the domestic use of drones to conduct surveillance and collect other information will have a broad and significant impact on the everyday lives of millions of Americans. Just in the last decade, technological advancements have revolutionized aviation to make this technology cheaper and more readily available. As a result, many law enforcement agencies and private companies and individuals have expressed interest in operating drones in our national airspace. Mention we're not talking about the large predator drones that are being used by the military or along our borders, but also about smaller, lightweight, unmanned vehicles. We're going to hear testimony about that. The one that Mr. Sheehan is bringing up here now, this is from the Mesa County Sheriff's Office. And Sheehan, if you could just hold that up there, that weighs just 2 or 3 pounds, 2 pounds. Thank you, Ms. Miller. It weighs 2 pounds. With the Federal Aviation Administration estimating as many as 30,000 drones like this operating in the national airspace by the end of this decade, I think we have to carefully consider the policy implications of this fast emerging technology. I know that we're going to hear a lot of things about the unique advantages of using unmanned aircraft as opposed to manned vehicles. Drones are able to carry out arduous and dangerous tasks that would otherwise be expensive or difficult for a human to undertake. For example, in addition to law enforcement surveillance, drones will potentially be used for scientific experiments, agricultural research, geological surveying, pipeline maintenance, and search and rescue operations. So there are many valuable uses. But at the same time, the use of unmanned aircraft raises serious concerns about the impact on the constitutional and privacy rights of all Americans. The Department of Homeland Security, through Customs and Border Protection, already operates modified unarmed drones to patrol rural parts of our northern and southern borders, as well as to support drug interdiction efforts by law enforcement. A number of local law enforcement agencies have begun to explore using drones to assist with operational surveillance. This raises a number of questions regarding the adequacy of current privacy laws and the scope of existing Fourth Amendment jurisprudence. When is it appropriate for law enforcement to use drones? For what purposes? Under what circumstances should law enforcement be required to first obtain a search warrant? And then what should be done with the data that's collected? How long should it be kept? Although no drones operating in the U.S. are yet weaponized, I'm advised, should law enforcement be permitted to equip unmanned aircraft with non-lethal tools such as tear gas, pepper spray? And my concerns about the domestic use of drones extends beyond government and law enforcement. Before we allow widespread use of drones in the domestic airspace, we have to carefully consider the impact on the privacy rights of Americans. Just last week, we were reminded how one company's push to gather data on Americans led to vast overcollection and potential privacy violations. Similarly, a simple scan of amateur videos on the internet demonstrates how prevalent drone technology is becoming amongst private citizens. Small, quiet, unmanned aircraft can easily be built or purchased online for only a few $100s, and then equipped with high-definition video cameras while flying in areas impossible for manned aircraft to operate without being detected. It is not hard to imagine the serious privacy problems this type of technology could cause. In a state like mine, Vermont, we protect and guard our privacy. This is raising some very serious questions from people from the far right to the far left. So we can't take a short-sighted view. Technology in this area will advance at an incredible rate. So I hope this hearing will be just the beginning of a dialogue. To help this committee explore some of these issues, Senator Grassley and I have invited witnesses who testify from a variety of perspectives. We hear from a law enforcement official who has a functioning and fully operational unmanned aircraft unit. We'll hear from the head of the leading unmanned vehicle industry group, a representative of the Electronic Privacy Information Center, and a scholar who has studied the intersection of drone technology with privacy and Fourth Amendment law, and I appreciate them being here